What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to cover the second half of the quarterfinal games of the in-season tournament. Entertaining games last night. Went 1-1 in our bets yesterday. Celtics could not make threes, could not take care of the ball for us, and Pels, after a slow start, kind of coasted afterwards. So it was a good opening night of basketball. Loved seeing kind of the playoff level atmospheres. Mike, how are you doing? What were your takeaways from opening night of the quarterfinals?
Yeah, doing good. I'm actually on the injury report today. I messed up my leg going hiking. I'm okay though, just a pretty bad bruise. A lower leg contusion is how I'm officially on there. But yeah, really good game. Indiana wanted it more. Halliburton insane. Looked like the Celtics, as poorly as they played, they were up 7 in the first half. It looked like it was going to kind of go okay, but yeah, hey, don't feel bad about it. And they just got, Drew Holiday was not very good. Derek White fell apart. Couldn't get much out of Horford. Meanwhile, all the role players step up on the other side. Neesmith was fantastic. Obi gave him good minutes. Miles Turner was pretty good. Even Mathurin made some plays. Like the roster was just top to bottom better yesterday, on top of Halliburton really being the star of the show. Neesmith impact on Tatum was really good. And just they could get nothing out of the secondary guys. That was kind of the difference. But really great win for the Pacers.
Yeah, the nature of Celtics games is going to be this. The Celtics were 12 for 41 from three. They shot 29%. The Pacers were 19 for 40 from three. They shot 47.5%. That difference, that 7 threes made difference, is 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
If it's neutral, the Celtics win easily. The Celtics shot very poorly from three. They are 3-point dependent. That will happen from times. And it's just the nature of Celtics games. But over time, they're better 3-point shooters than the rest of the league, and they'll win those games. All right, let's move on to today's games. Let's start in the East. The two teams that will face the winner will face the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks and the Bucks. On the Knicks side, questionable tags for Evan Fournier and Daquan Jeffries. Neither player we expect to be in the rotation, so no big deal there. What are your notes on the Knicks tonight?
Yeah, we saw Julius Randle have a little bit of a knee injury, generally unaffected. He's been fine. Brunson's been fine. The question is, how tight does this rotation go? Are they going to cut down some of the DiVincenzo, who's been playing actually pretty well for them? Because we talked about the Pacers game. They basically played like 7 guys. If you count the Nembhard and McConnell as kind of like their 8th guy, but their starters plus Mathurin, plus Neesmith. And then we saw the Pelicans cut their rotation down. Jordan Hawkins didn't even play yesterday. And then the Celtics didn't actually cut down too much. But that's kind of the question we're looking at here, is how much do those minutes get cut down in this spot? Certainly they're going to need all the size they can get on the other way. But so I wouldn't be surprised to see if DiVincenzo's minutes come down here. But yeah, they're generally pretty healthy here. They've been off since, I think, Friday? So all healed up and ready to go.
Yeah, and feel very confident that the Knicks are playing 9 guys regardless. It's just a matter of what number of minutes go to different guys. And obviously with Grimes, DiVincenzo, Hart, Quickly, those are a little bit hot hand oriented in terms of how the minutes go. We saw a game earlier this year against Milwaukee where DiVincenzo had the hot hand and he ended up playing a bunch in that game. So it's going to be dictated based on who's shooting well, most likely. Milwaukee side of things, they are without Pat Connaughton and Jay Crowder, and they have Andre Jackson Jr. listed as questionable as well. So their rotation's a little bit thinner out on that wing area, and it'll be interesting to see how they compensate. You can see a box score here against the Hawks where they played fairly tight. This is basically an 8.5-man rotation. What are your expectations for the Bucks today, and do we see Andre Jackson Jr., if he is available, is even in the rotation?
I don't think he's playing regardless. We've got their starting 5. We know Portis is going to play a ton. Campaign will get the non-Dames, maybe a couple more. And then Marchand Beauchamp will pick up some of those Middleton minutes. The question is, how many minutes are Middleton? We saw him, get up to the upper 20s, had that Achilles tendonitis thing to cut him down a little bit. So, again, they've been off since, I think, Saturday. So maybe he's back up. Maybe he hits 30 minutes for the first time this year. So something we'll be watching here. But yeah, this team's also pretty healthy as well. But I think there's no way that Andre Jackson's playing either way.
Okay. So you're expecting an 8-man rotation from Milwaukee tonight, most likely?
I think so, yeah. Maybe we'll see a couple pieces. It's a little tougher to play 8 when Middleton's going to have a cap on him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll definitely put a ninth guy in. I'll be looking at minutes right after this. Hike Camelback Mountain with Sam this morning was super fun, besides my injury. But yeah, so we'll project kind of 8.5, I would say.
All right, let's move to Phoenix and the Lakers. On the Phoenix side of things, they're without Bradley Beal. They have a questionable tag on Eric Gordon here with a right knee contusion. It's a pretty important injury from Phoenix's standpoint. Good news is no Devin Booker or Kevin Durant listed on the injury report. They are good to go and all set. So, what are your expectations for this Eric Gordon injury, and what do we see from Phoenix tonight?
Yeah, Frank Vogel said that they're hopeful Eric Gordon can play. We saw Eric Gordon had a knee injury on Friday, didn't play on the Saturday back-to-back. I think that's probably part of it. So he's been off for a few days as well. So expect him to be out there, probably starting. Maybe they go big here. We know that they've kind of had the default starting lineup when they have everyone, which hasn't been very often. Devin Booker at the point, Gordon, Grayson, Kevin Durant, and Nurk, who's been playing a lot better. Should mention shout out Nurk as well. And then we know we're going to probably see Katie Bates D up a good amount of minutes guarding LeBron. How much are they going to play Goodwin? It might be barely. How much are they going to play Nazir Little? Maybe barely. Do they go small here? I think that could be in the cards as well. Utah's minutes, I think, are pretty safe. But, yeah, I could see these Goodwin, Nazir Little minutes coming way, way down. Certainly, Devin Booker coming off an injury when, it looked like he wasn't even going to play Saturday. He goes out there and plays freaking awesome with 37 minutes. So, yeah, I'm expecting really heavy minutes out of Booker, Durant. We'll see a little bit of a Kogi. I should have mentioned him as well. But, I think they're going to start those guys I mentioned. But I wouldn't be shocked if Eric Gordon kind of comes off the bench here just to, manage his minutes and all that stuff, and then just give yourself a better matchup on LeBron. So certainly of all the starting lineups tonight, that's the one that is going to be one we're going to watch tonight.
Yeah, and the one thing that's challenging about the bench pieces for Phoenix is, none of them in terms of their overall talent levels really separate in a big way between Yuta, Keita Bates-Diop, Nasir Little, Jordan Goodwin. So it's really going to be a little bit like matchup dictated based on even a Kogi I could include in that group. It's going to be matchup dictated based on how the coaching staff feels like an individual player might match up with an opponent defensively and different things like that. And we've seen this at times. We've guessed wrong with Okogie and Keita Bates-Diop and Nasir Little, and it's really it's kind of coaching discretion because nobody is skill wise that much different than those guys. And so I would just caution being overconfident in which guy is the guy that kind of falls out. But there's probably going to be a guy that falls out of the rotation just as these things tighten up kind of naturally. We saw this kind of yesterday with New Orleans, where if you looked at our minutes projections, we were hedging between like Jose Alvarado, Dyson Daniels, and Jordan Hawkins, knowing that one of these guys is probably falling out of the rotation. We took bets on Jordan Hawkins. They end up being void because he doesn't play. But if you were for sure that one of those guys were out of the rotation, then you would add minutes to those other two guys. So just a note there when accessing our projections and understanding kind of hedge situations with these spots that we don't know for sure who's going to be the odd person out. All right, Lakers side. Questionable tag for LeBron James for the 13th consecutive game. Probable tag for Anthony Davis. Probable tag for Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt. Gabe Vincent remains out here. What are your notes on the Lakers?
Yeah, so Rui Hachimura, he was supposed to play on Saturday, and they kind of late-ish scratched him like after the fact. So expect him to play. So we'll see. This is going to be tight here. Their second unit bigs are deep. They've got Vanderbilt back, Christian Wood, Max Christie's been playing some 2-3. So Jackson Hayes can go away. So it feels like Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, those guys could barely play here because then they're going to ask Cam Reddish to guard Booker. I feel pretty confident in that. And Turing Prince is guarding Kevin Durant in the earlier matchup. So I expect those guys to pick up those roles and pick up starting lineup spots. D'Angelo's played great. Should mention him. His deflections are way up on top of the steals, and then obviously LeBron and AD. We should see huge minutes out of them here. Big spot at home, and then the Reeves D'Lo stuff. That could kind of come down a little bit, especially since they gotta defend these two superstar players on the offensive side. So the overlap could be a little bit lighter than normal just because it's such a tall task to handle Booker and Durant. So, yeah, a lot of push and pull, but we know they're going to need a couple big wing defenders to combat what the Suns have at their perimeter scoring.
Yeah, and the commentary around Rui was kind of interesting in that he'll probably play tonight. Was an interesting turn of phrase. So we'll see another bench rotation here that has some guys that have different skill sets but are kind of similar in terms of overall value with Rui, Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt. In terms of figuring out like who loses opportunities, I would think that Christian Wood would be most vulnerable just because of his defensive limitations compared to the other two in this matchup with Kevin Durant. But will be interesting to see how extended guys like Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, and even if Max Christie, those options that are kind of their more defensive oriented options, how extended they get in this matchup against Booker and Kevin Durant. All right. That'll do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, if you're enjoying the content that we provide on this channel, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel, get notifications whenever we go live. We're aiming to get to 5,000 subscribers on the channel by the end of the NBA season. That is our goal. We would love to be helped by you subscribing now, spreading the word, and help feeding the algorithm for other people to catch this content as well. If you're interested in our content behind the paywall, you can catch myself and Mike Gallagher doing our Establish the Show tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern time, where we break down the slate from a DFS perspective, talk through the good chalk, the bad chalk, the leverage contrarian plays, and of course take your strategy questions on these small 2-game slates. If you're interested in more of our content, you can go to establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA for more details. If you are enjoying this content, specifically this video itself, make sure to tell the algorithm that you're enjoying it by smashing that like button. You can press it gently, you can press it firmly, but we really would love for you to smash it.
I think I lost your mic.
Top bets. Oh boy.
There it goes.
Am I back or am I gone?
You're back.
Okay. Okay. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. It's always important to help feed the algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll